Welcome everybody. So I wanted to do a quick base tour and then show you what I have going on here and then go through and explain everything. That way if you just want to see the base, that's fine, and if you want to learn why I did things the way I did it, you can hang around. So to start off with the base tour. Whoop, get into my thing. Perfect. So right here is my overall base. Nothing I have is purchased. This is all in-game stuff that I've found or acquired. Mostly the tier 3 mats. It's a little cloudy over here. But I just want to give you an idea of the overall base. Alright. So that's the flyover. Now I'll take you through. So here on the right we have our tower. This right here is used for doing the cortexes. So this setup, and I'll go into it a little bit later, is like the perfect setup that you need so that you don't get your base attacked, and it's real easy to take out everybody. So then we'll move up the stairs into the main hall. So you enter into the crafting room. So here we have all of our crafting stuff. I've thrown all of the boxes down, so generally I'll just come in here, click on the boxes, press H, that'll get thrown. In this section we have all of our deviants. So I have all 20 cases going through. They're all situated on whether they need heat. They'll be over here, the different colors over them. All the electricity is done, both a plant and a crop, so that we can keep everybody happy. I've got music on both sides of the room. And of course, we have our toys for the ones that prefer toys. So this is our Deviant Room. Then moving through the crafting room, I'll take you up to the living quarters. So here in the living quarters, it's kind of just like a chill place. This is where I'll come if I am going to sleep. With the kitty cat that just left. As you can see, I did the vaulted ceilings. Keep them a little bit higher. I wanted to have something that kind of stood out as like a great room place where I can do work and stare out with these giant open windows, as well as a piano and then a bar. So as we move out, I have a balcony that wraps around most of the house. So this is the back area. We have a section that goes down to the water. And then over here, takes you all the way around. I have down here my garage. So this is where I keep my vehicles. See, back when gas prices weren't too bad. Vending machine for anybody that wants to come visit. I actually still need to hook it up. And I'll take you around through the back section. Over here into the separate room, this is my power room. You can see I have some water pumps there. The water pumps are moving up to another water pump, which basically brings them in. That's how I'm getting my purified water as well as my acid from my acid farm. I'll go into that a little bit later after the base tour. But here I have all of my different generators. So this is my energy room. This is my grow room, so I have everything set up in a particular way, and I'll explain all of this stuff a little bit later as well. Lights on the roof. I'll go over how my electric's set up. A spot that I use for fishing, so I can just stand off the back here do some fishing when I need to. And then that takes us back into the living area. And then if you go up to the 3rd floor, this section here is just kind of like a place where you can hang out. Set a bar up in the front. Just empty room. I could not get a door on here, unfortunately. I had one and then like half my base disappeared, so I had to rebuild it. And I am gathering so much purified water that I ended up having to build a little water tower up here. So basically this is where I'll keep like tons of my extra water. This water actually flows down and is used for the tub. So the tub is working. If you guys were wondering if it actually works, it does. So you fill it up, and then once it's full, you can hit F again, and your character will actually take a bath. So I thought that was pretty neat. Relaxing. So for everybody here that just wanted to see the base tour, that was it. Thanks for coming out. If you're interested in learning more about the base, such as how the electric's set up, how the crafting sections are set up, hang around and I will go into that one last time so you guys can see basically how I have everything set up. Alright, so let's talk about the different sections of the base and why I made the decision to do what I did. So, we'll start here. This right here is my tower. So essentially, we set up the section, it's basically a 4-way, and then I've got tier 3 turrets set up here. And what this allows me to do is basically I go in here, I can put the Stardust Resonator inside, and then I can basically crank out tier 3s on this, and it handles like most of the work. So as you can see, I've got 4 around here, which covers most of my bases, and then the tower goes up, so 1, 2, 3 levels, and essentially all of these different weapons here will attack everything as it spawns. Now, one thing to note, if you put your resonator away from your base, then the mobs will be less likely to spawn and attack your base. So you don't have to worry about any of this stuff getting broken. So essentially, all of the mobs, for me, they'll spawn like right about here all the way around to here. So I just basically have all of these guns and everything pointed towards them. I've got the sandbags to kind of slow them down a little bit so I can hang out on this porch and just shoot down at them. I don't have to worry about the back or anything getting damaged. Matter of fact, like all these guns that are around my base are basically just for looks. Like I don't even have them set up. I do have enough energy that I could set them up if I wanted, but there's no need because of the way that I built this base. So having this essentially moves all of the mobs and the bosses here, and I can just put in all the work over here away from everything without fear of anything breaking. One of my buddies just had a raid on his base, and it knocked out one of the foundations for him, and he had boxes on top, and the boxes disappeared with it, so he basically had to start over from scratch. So this is how I recommend doing base defense for resonators. So kind of we'll step backwards as we go through. The way I do my electric, you'll see I put the little electric nodes, and then basically I run it from the wall over there, and then I run it down and I keep it low. And then for my inside, in here, I do the same thing. You see I have the cords basically go up, and then that way I can set them all up. Over here, I run it down over to the top here, And you'll notice as we go through this for the electric, we'll go into the electric room and I'll show you how that's all set up. So take note that I have two sets of lines here. So the bottom line runs to all of my main appliances and everything that I use. The top line is used only for defense. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to separate these out. And they actually run from the power room over here. Again, so this is the power room. And the power room runs to this grid here down on the bottom. So I have all of these connected to these. And then this connects over to a switch, and then from this switch it comes down, and this is all of my water stuff. So my acid farm is all on its own switch, so I can turn that off if I need to. It's completely separated from the grid. Same thing going up. So I have a set that goes up, and oops, in that set that goes up, I also have a, hold on, let's get back in here. So that goes up to here, and again, this is set up to another switch, and this switch basically takes over my entire grow room. So everything is off the switch. If I need more power, I can basically remove it from, I can flip off that, I can flip off that, and that'll give me the power that I need. However, with my current setup, I don't really need any additional power anyway, but it's nice to know that I have it. So this right here is actually two ceiling tiles, and underneath the ceiling I have the cables running from this room, and they come up over here. So those run to there, and then this here on the right runs to my switches on the bottom. So everything on the bottom is on its own breaker, and I just basically put the breakers all the way through. Well, I guess this one's on the top. I'm not sure which ones I have set up. But essentially, there's two sets with two sets of breakers. So one breaker is used for all of the normal electricity in my house, all of the tables, and the other box is used for all my defenses. So even though I don't have a ton of defenses, because basically all of these guns will do the work they need to do, if I ever did want to beef up with a lot more guns, I could, because I wouldn't have to worry about power. I could basically set up as much as I want, pop the switch on the house. That'll divert all the power to my defenses, and then I can go ahead and do my defenses. So I definitely I highly recommend sectioning stuff off so that you can divert power when needed. So for me, like I said, I have one box basically goes to all of my regular stuff, another box for all of my defenses, another box upstairs for my grow room, and another box down here for the acid. And then I just run them all the way around. So I always have a top one and a bottom one, and then that way I know the top is for defense and the bottom is for your regular stuff. So if I did want to hook this gun up, I would just basically run it over to the top, and then I would be all set. So that is my electricity and how I have that set up. So next thing we'll go into is this acid farm here. So in order to farm acid, and I don't think it's really working that great right now, what you want to do is you want to make sure you have numbers on your backpack like you see here. And then from there you want to get a water pump. And I have 3 in here. I used to have 7, but it was just pumps way too much for me to actually handle. So I've actually dropped it down to 3. But essentially you want to have the numbers on your back and then pop a water pump down. And it doesn't have to be in the water. Actually, if you were to pop it down in the grass over here, it would only pump up the acid. If you were to put it in the water here, it gets both dirty water and the acid stuff. So I'll show you what that looks like. So essentially, the water pumps go up to an actual water pump. And the reason we do this is because we need the water to flow in a certain direction. So we start from the pump and we move up in the direction we want to go to the water pump, and then from the water pump to the osmosis, and then from the osmosis goes over to the barrel so that it can sit in there, and then you have to manually move it from the barrel or from the water holder to the barrels. So I'll show you that process. So, oops. And again, I have the electric here on its own circuit. So, moving back up. So those go up to the pump. The pump goes up to the reverse osmosis. If I go in here, you'll see I have polluted water that I'm getting out of there. That's what's going to turn into acid. And I have dirty water, which turns into pure water. Once these fill up, they drop down here. And then this runs over to my water tank. And then in my water tank, I have acid. So here's 600 impure acid that I have from my farm. And you can see I have so much pure water that I actually just sent a friend over to get a bunch of it because I just have way too much. This will then flow into here, and the water will automatically be topped off. However, the impure acid that I just pulled out will need to be put in here. Now, it says the output ratio is 2 to 1, but that's actually not true. It's 10 to 1. So if I put in 600, it'll basically give me 60. So that is a little unfortunate, but it is free acid, so it's not a bad acid grind if you're going to do it. So that is basically how you do your acid. So one more time, just so you can see the entire process, is you want to start over here, make sure you have the numbers on your back, run these up to a water pump if you're going up, run those to osmosis. The osmosis is going to clean the purities. It'll give you the impure acid. All of that stuff flows over to the water tank, and then the water tank you want to flow over to the barrels. The barrels will take the will automatically transfer over the purified water, but you'll have to manually come in here every day and transfer over the impure acid, which will then turn into acid, and that's essentially your acid farm. And you can blow this out as much as you want. When I had 6 of them or 7 of them, basically I ran another 3 over here. They went up to another water pump, and then that other water pump went over to the other osmosis. Right now I have these 2 osmosis together, so essentially this will put into whatever has space, and then it'll create that farm there. So that is my acid farm. So then moving on, I will talk about growing plants. So this right here is my grow farm. So as you can see, I have some peppercorn here, which I just pulled out. So inside here, you'll have all the different seeds that you have on you. Some seeds to note that I enjoy growing are peppercorn is really good. Morel or morel is also something that's needed, and mushrooms for fertilizer. So if you were to click on any one of these, you'll then choose your fertilizer. For the good stuff, I'll use like the yield boost, which gives me a greater yield, but I'll just select the regular fertilizer here. And then as you go through, you'll see that they have an irrigation level, which is the amount of water that it expects to have, as well as the amount of lighting. So one thing that I learned while doing this, and you'll notice my lights are kind of elevated here, is that the higher the light is up, the more the light will shine down. So if I had this on like the lower level, I could basically only get it to cover 2 of these, and I'd need to have a bunch of lights. So what I did was I used one of these little quarter sized walls, and I built it up a little bit higher so that I can sit them just high enough that basically it will get all of these. And if I had a bigger space, which I don't because I made this a little smaller, I could actually run another 3 on the other side, and then that would give me enough for 8. So basically 8 per light is what it would come out to. I'd have to move the light over a little bit. I did try going up a full wall and doing, instead of a half wall, a full wall, and I was having actually less luck with it. So I think going up a half wall seems to be our best bet when dealing with the lighting. So the lighting, depending on what you have, I usually keep them. You can press F on them and it will set the target lighting. Most of the stuff I have is like right around 80, 90, so I set the target at 90. And then for the irrigation, I set it at 80. Almost every plant I feel that I've seen has like an 80-80 yield or somewhere in between. And again, as long as you are within that green and you see like there's a big portion like this one, the irrigation can be between 50 and 100 and the lighting can be 50 or 100. Orange seeds a little bit, you don't want to break 90 for the irrigation. But a lot of these, like almost all of the seeds, I guess there was one that I just saw that was that looked very like it needed something specific. But yeah, most of them, if you're like 80, 90, you'll be good to go. So the next thing that we have here are these irrigation facilities, and the same thing with the lights. You press the F button and then you can set the irrigation. And these will actually spin in 360 degrees. That's why you want to have a setup like this, where you put one in the middle, and then you have your 8 boxes around it, and it'll actually spin around that entire time. So these do need to be set up to some type of water. So upstairs, where I showed you in the tour earlier, I do have some water towers up here. So inside here, all of that extra water that I talked about that I'm getting, because the water for the asset farm, you'll get 4 for every 2 assets, so you don't need as much, so you end up with twice as much water. So I just fill all these buckets up with water, and then basically that water pours down to both my tub as well as to my sprinklers. So that's essentially how you do your setup for this. You half wall, set your lights, make sure you have the plants that you want, set the irrigation system. Then to make it just a little bit nicer, when you're going, there is a spot on the map. It is down at the bottom area. So what you'll do is, if you have, let me see which tower it is. Whoop. Now I am lost. Okay. So you want to come down. It is right next to one of these towers. And now I cannot find it. Let me zoom in a little bit. But somewhere down in this area, here it is. So I believe it's this tower right here to the left. When you zoom in, this is like a hole that you jump down into, and you'll be underground. You'll find a bunch of mushrooms. And if you pick the mushrooms, you'll get a little mushroom guy. And the mushroom guy will... the mushroom guy, which is over here tending to my other plants and crops, will allow you to tell him what to plant, and he'll take care of everything. He'll come make sure that all of your plants are going well, he'll harvest them when you need, and then he'll put the seeds in. So in order to manage that, so basically I'll come over here. You can see he requires green light, high temperature, so he needs to be near one of these furnaces. And you can't use the electric furnace, you have to use the old school furnace, and then electricity. So we'll go ahead and claim and we'll see what he brought me back. So he got me peppercorn, deviated peppercorn, morel seeds, blueberries. Now I can then say, hey buddy, what I really want you to plant for me, we'll get him planting some good stuff. So these morel seeds, which you can buy from one of the vendors in town, he will now go ahead and start planting those. So he's probably already started. So he'll run upstairs back into his little spot, and he will find one of these that are empty, and he'll start planting those for me. Oh, here he goes. Do your thing, little mushroom. Oh, it's funny. It's the exact one that I put. Yeah, so he'll drop them down. He'll start planting them, and then when they're ready, he'll harvest them. If he has more seeds left over, he'll keep going. He ran out of the last batch of seeds, so you just gotta keep an eye on them. These are great because if you get into your cradle and you go into your mimetics, and what you're going to want to learn is the food. I believe it is the 2. Dishes 4 here. So this is a really nice one. Takes sunfish, the morel, corn oil, and aluminum. And what this is going to do is it's stroke of luck. So it's used for a chance to get 66%, 666%, or 6,666% yield bonus for the final strike whenever you're out mining or logging. So you pop one of these, you go out mining, and you'll come back with a ton more stuff. So it's really good. So that right there is the setup for harvesting. So just to kind of go over this, here is my room for deviants. So I have them all clustered in different sections. So over here, I have everything that basically needs to be warm. So I have, and I think you can go over basically 2. Once I go 3 over, it starts to not take the warmth from the furnace. So I have these set up like this. So these are blue light, music, high temperature. I pop a blue light above. It's able to get both of these guys. This one over here just needs high temperature and electricity, so I'm not worried about the lighting. And then this guy that we saw earlier, green light, high temperature, electricity. This guy, red light, toy, high temperature. As far as I know, there's only one toy in the game that you can get, and it's this llama. And you get that toy with your points. So if you go into like Evolutionary's Call, I think it is, and then you want to go into Season Goals, and then Season Shop under Phase 1. And this is where you can go in and you can buy your plush toy. So you'll need this for a bunch of your deviants that require toys to be nearby. And again, as far as I know, this is the only way to get that. This is also where I got most of the furniture that you see within. I have not purchased any of the packs, although I would love to. I just haven't done it. So I came through and I bought all of this stuff. This uses Starchrom, which is also the same thing for patterns. So you do need to decide if you want to look cool or if you would like to have weapons and gear. I went with look cool, obviously. Annual season, this thing right here. You want to buy when you can. This is with the seasonal stuff. You just buy a bunch of those. They'll give you a chance to basically get any of this gear. I got that one time, so that's where I got that from my character. You'll get a bunch of these cosmetic tokens. The cosmetic tokens can be used to buy other stuff in the game. So one of the things that I bought was the bar with the cosmetic tokens. To get to the cosmetic tokens is under the main shop and then under other and then redeem cosmetic tokens. So here I purchased the bar. So that's how I ended up getting the bar. Again, you can get that just from getting the season pass stuff. So as you go through and you start to do your season pass, you'll get those points that you can spend. So back to these guys here. These ones were easy. It's just red light music. I have music playing on both sides of the room, so it covers the entire room. I have another toy here, so that covers that side of the room. I have a toy over there to cover that side of the room. I'm running 6 of the Digby's just because they keep bringing things out. A lot of them are like skill rating 3, activity 3, deviant traits are these traits here like worn out. You can have up to 3 different traits. I think I have one with 2 traits, yeah, lazy bones and worn out. So that's what that basically means skill rating. Higher the skill, the more efficient they are. Activity rating is basically how fast they recover and they can get back out there. The kitty cat will sleep with you. I know that's weird. Just requires a toy. Very simple. And then this one, from what I hear, makes you fat so you can carry more stuff when you lay down and sleep. Um, I'm not sure, but that's what I'm told. This right here, I haven't done anything with yet. This is the strange door. Again, I have flowers. So over here, you'll see I have a flower set up. And then over here, I have a crop set up because some things require flowers and some things require crops. Paper doll, he comes back, brings me stuff. My rabbit brings me stuff. These beavers bring me stuff. So again, they need to be near crops. Have some music, electricity. This guy, I don't know where he got him, but he's pretty awesome. He makes your, whenever you're crafting something on a furnace, he'll sit on it, and I guess it makes it go faster. So that's a nice thing to have. And then this is what I use for combat. Basically, this guy is pretty OP. What you do is you bring him out during combat. I just do flawless fortification usually, so I hold him. And you'll see my health down at the bottom gets cleared up as well as my sanity. So it's pretty nice to have. So that is my setup. Of course, I have one extra one. My lethal rabbit, which I had to kill many, many, many rabbits for. But this guy has to be in a cold area, so I popped him out here by the fridge. It's the only one that I kind of have off in another area. This guy could be great. He brings back meat, which is nice. And he also brings back rawhide. So I got 7 rawhide, bunch of meat. You get him from killing bunnies. One of the best places to do that is basically down here on the beach. I run from like this area to this area. By the time I got to the end, I had already got one. And I think I killed 50 or so bunnies on the way there and back. I got them right around 30, 32. So that is my bunny setup. So I think that covers everything. We went over how to defend your base for Starchrom. I went over my power grid setup and why I have my power set up the way I do. I went over my grow room and basically how to do that setup. We talked a little bit about defenses. So that's basically it. So if anybody has any questions, I have, I'm not the most seasoned vet, but I do have over 100 hours as of today in this particular instance, mostly used towards learning all the different mechanics I could and setting up this base, which I think is pretty cool for, you know, what it is. So if you have any questions, you know, feel free to pop them down in the comments. And let me know what you think, or if there's anything that I missed or I might have misrepresented, and if there's anything that you would have done different or you think I should have done different. But again, thanks again for watching the video. I hope you learned something new, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and have a good one. Thanks, everybody.